So welcome back again, guys, to another banger. All right, and we're here going to be talking about what the edifying of our Father's business, which is what our spirit and the knowledge of what we gain in the spirit and of why we need it. See, a lot of times we are always talking about prosperity. A lot of times people talk about, their claims because they want to give you a sales pitch. They want to sell you something. Remember that Christ came in the temple and he abolished all of those things because it is wrong. That's why there's so many churches now. I cannot settle with a lot of churches because, like, I've given you guys the proportion, right, ratio, proper ratio, by letting you guys know that there is not a lot of Christians out here in the world. Although they may say Christian, they say they worship God. And remember that words have a meaning. So when you follow what everybody is doing, if they are going to go and fall off a bridge, you're going to fall off a bridge too. It's not about just money. It's not about the gold diamonds. It's not about all of the things that make you look good. It's about the true intention of good, which is your actions and your intention from within your heart. A lot of times, people don't realize that we suffer because we make ourselves sufferers in the world. You can go to school, but then that doesn't really make you really intelligent. And you know the reason why that doesn't make you really intelligent? And I'm not saying that anybody here is stupid or anything like that. What makes somebody intelligent is the amount of what knowledge that they gather, right? But then if you gather knowledge and all you're doing is following instructions, right? Does that make you intelligent, or is just that you know certain things? Having intelligence is being able to understand, but really being intelligent is not having somebody to teach you something without having someone to be to teach you something for you to understand. You'll pick it up. That's another thing called wisdom, because with wisdom you have discernment. So intelligence is not just, oh, we go to school for 8-10 years of our lives, get a piece of paper that can burn the next day, just like money. Because what do you think will happen if the capital, right? If all of this capital just gets destroyed, your money is not going to be worth anything. Your paper is not going to be worth anything, because in another country, they're going to look at you like you came from this country thinking that this is that. But the value of your nation's capital, or, leverage, right, is no longer valuable. How much? You can have $1 million here, and then all of the value of the dollar bill just becomes zero. You go to another country with $1 million cash, and they tell you it's not valuable. What are you going to say then? To what I'm basically concluding here is this: everything that we're working up for, eventually we're going to die. Eventually we're going to let it go. Are you going to kill yourself for the simple fact that you won $1 million? Are you going to kill somebody for the simple fact that you won $1 million? Are you going to go and rob a bank because you won $1 million? Are you going to go and hurt somebody because you won $1 million? No. If you really are if you really are a child of your father and you follow his commands, it's not about all of this extra stuff, because that's the reason why people are doing the things that they're doing. I used to smoke. I don't smoke no more. I used to lie. I don't lie no more. I don't even have the taste to lie to nobody. The moment I even think that I'm about to lie, I tell that spirit to leave me. Like, for real. Like, somebody would think that I'm crazy because I'm talking out loud. Like, no, sometimes you have to speak out loud, because the spirit, those influences do not attack you, on the way that, no, sometimes they might attack you through people, but they will attack you mentally, because your mental is connected to your spiritual. So they will send spirits of craziness to make you feel like you're crazy, spirits of contradiction to contradict your thoughts. When you already know the truth, and when you know the truth, you can exercise the truth. Just like what? Just like when Christ went into the mountain. And this is where it's going to be good and why we got to talk about it. Just like when Christ went to the mountain, do you think that the spirit was talking to Christ physically and giving him words? No, they were trying to inflict his mind. They were trying to conflict his mind. That's why I told you guys in the previous videos, right? Saying that when the devils, the Satans, the Lucifers, when they come to tempt you, temptation is not temptation alone. Meaning temptation is conviction. Temptation is conviction. It's called manipulation. Okay? It's called seduction. Temptation is just an act of influence to make somebody feel, to have somebody think, to have somebody understand. That's what temptation is. But when you break down how you're being tempted, you understand that there are levels to temptation. There are different brackets on how temptation is being used. And a lot of this, your pastors are not going to tell you. They're going to say that, oh, demons, devils, they're going to be yelling at God. They're going to, like the word God, quote unquote. They're going to be yelling at Yahuwah, saying, oh, Father, 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 this, yelling, just yelling. When you are talking to your creator, if he can see your heart, why do you have to yell? If he knows what you're thinking, why do you have to yell? That means that you have the spirit of wrath in you. You have the spirit of anger, because somebody that's not angry, do not yell about something that is not needed to yell at. That's just the truth. We all got problems that we deal with. We all got spirits of influences that we deal with. But there are certain levels of things that are worse than some. All sin is the same. But there's some that's easily to get rid of than others. Imagine it. Imagine your life with, if you're like the center of a roulette, right? And it's a wheel, and every section of that roulette is like something that a demon or a devil can use to inflict you. Imagine that wheel is not spinning, so they stagnate it, right? So that it doesn't spin, so that it cannot affect anything else around you, right? That you are potentially great at. So they target a specific section on that wheel, so that if they see that, okay, that's the one thing that your the little bink or whatever, the little stick it lands on every time. If that's what it lands on every time, because that's the most where your cup has been filled at, right? That's what they're going to attack. They're going to attack that the most because they see an opening in that. Okay, so this is going to be very important, and why Matthews is important. We're going to get started, all right? So the topic of today is what? Refuse the enemy's gift when Eli elevates you in Christ. In Yahusha, in him, Yahuwah Elohim Adonai. When he elevates you, you have to receive, you have to reject and refuse the gifts of your enemy. And the reason why is because majority of the time when they give you gifts, it comes with problems. See, you will get problems through your tribulations regardless. That's what a tribulation is for. But they will personally inflict you because you gave them an opening. And it's understandable, because I had went through stuff like this myself. But just because certain things, sometimes Yahuwah will allow you to be inflicted just because he can give you what you need through whatever that the demons are giving you as a gift. A lot of times it's not made aware. You're not sometimes going to be, majority of the time, you're not going to be aware of it. Majority of the time, you will, I promise you, majority of the time, you will not be aware of it. And if you are aware of it, 9 out of 10 is because you're told to not to participate in those type of ridicule jokes, mockeries, those accusations. to not be a part of a show, to not be a character to somebody's specific ideals of life. Everything, remember, is for Yahuwah's what? It's his will and his purpose and his glory. So everything that happens, if you are a true believer, you will know that even when you are even at your deathbed, if it's not Yahuwah's will for you to die, you will not die. You will not suffer even an infliction, not even one bit, not an ounce, not an inch, not a centimeter, not a millimeter, however much that can be acquainted for or accounted for. You will not suffer those things. And I'm not here to tell you, oh, we won't go through problems. No, we go through problems as people, regardless. Regardless. We go through problems as people, regardless. But we're going to get into the word just so because it's a little bit long and I don't want you guys to be upset at me. So we're going to get started. So we're going to be in Saint Matthew's chapter, the Chronicle of Saint Matthew's chapter 3, right? And I'll give you guys about 10 seconds to grab your biblioteca and we'll get started. And I won't be actually cutting off in these chapters, honestly, because it's a little bit long. And like I said, I don't want you guys to be upset at me. Hopefully, nobody is. And we're just here to learn. And we're here to be our better selves. Because there's a lot of lies that's being told out here. And I would not stand for that. There's a lot of accusations out here. And I would not stand for that. Just because I don't speak towards anything directly, that does not mean that I don't know. Let's get started. In those days, John Baptist came in the image preaching from the wilderness of Judea. He was saying to many to repent, for Eli's kingdom of heaven is at stake. For even Esaias confirmed so. He said, "Prepare, for the Messiah will be upon us." Now at the time he was drenched from his head to his feet, and he smelled like outside and had marks on his skin. He was a man of the wilderness. So basically, because in the verses before the translation, they say he smelled like milk and honey, which somewhat you could say mildew. He smelled like mildew. And like I said, a lot of the people that were in the Bai and the Baal, right, in this history of these words, they were not people, majority of them were not people that had kingdoms that were ruling over nations. Majority of them, they were not. Some of them, they were broke. They were dead flat, of no money, no gold. People still love them because of their heart and their mission in this world of enlightening people. That is exactly the truth. And it's not about, oh, you come to my Sunday reunion and giving your 10% tithes. No, 10. Remember, tithes, right? Your offerings is not considered the word tithes. Tithes is just a portion of, meaning something that is calculated as a portion. Offering is an exchange of gratitude. There's a difference. So when people go to church and they give their 10%, they're thinking that money is going to give you what is going to get you right with what you work for. Like, no, your heart, your spirit, your walk, your journey, your truth, the truth of what is actually true that you believe in. If you have no truth in you, that means Yahuwah will not be in you. It doesn't matter what you say, how you say. If truth is not in you, you will not have your creator in you. That's just that simple, point blank. Somebody can tell me the truth. If it's the truth, even if it hurts, I would rather people telling me the truth than to lie to me. Simple. If it hurts, it hurts. At least I know. But if it's not the truth, then why are you lying to me? Why are you creating a facade? Why are you creating an image that is not true? Because you can't lie to somebody that can see you like you're naked. You can't. It's impossible. They can look at your spirit and they can see you through your eyes. They can see you through your words. They can see you through everything that you do. You can't lie to them. You just can't. It's impossible. But we're going to get into the word. Let's continue. But later he made way to Jerusalem, all over Judea. Oh, yeah, all over Judea and the neighboring regions surrounded by Jordan. From there he began to wash many that are the Pharisees and the Sadducees, as he called them sons and daughters of the viper. Remember, the Bai and the Baal is the symbol, what? Two inferences of a term, meaning you can still read but not subconsciously understand what you're reading. You can have a direct understanding and indirect understanding. And indirect understanding is the subliminal the symbolic, because I can't say the word right now. It's gonna come back to me. Subliminal messaging that are being given to you. Just like when you listen to what the music of the world, you don't know exactly too much of what's going on in the music. You have no clue. It's hypnotic. It puts you in a trance. It gets you to do all of these things that are not good, right? We don't hear those things. But in the Bai and the Bao, it says baptized. Now, a lot of people don't know. They think that because it's English and it has a definition that baptized just means baptized. I want you guys to break the word apart. From the beginning of the letter to the end of the letter, in every portion, left and right, right to left. In every proportion of that word, look that word up. From its original language, look it up. I'll give you a clue. We're going to start with one generation of of a language. We're going to go to Latin. Then after you go to Latin, well, I'll give you two. After you go to Latin, go to Greek and do your research from there. The word baptize. Understand that words have meaning. It's not just in English, because remember that even words that are in English are in French, are in Spanish, are in, German. So that means that even the German language, even the Dutch, even the ones that are in Dutch, I don't know the I don't really care too much right now, but even Portuguese, right? All of the Italian, the Spaniards, right? All of these people, that means that all of the languages have been brought from a specific origin. That includes French, Spanish, and everything, even Japanese and Chinese. They have Mandarin, they have all of these words, all of these languages. I speak more than 3 to 4 languages. So I know they have an origin. They come from somewhere. Okay? Let's continue. Let's continue. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go back to it. It says he called them the sons of the sons and daughters of the viper, meaning liars. Because you can't want to be baptized, washed off from the waters, and then still lie, and still cheat, and still exploit, and still do evil. You can't, because your body is going to testify against you. It will. And when it does, because the first thing before punishment, right? Do you know what happens? You will get symptoms of pain, meaning it can be a financial pain, it can be a mental pain, a spiritual pain, a physical pain, an emotional pain. Before you get punished, after those 5 things happen, right? Then what's going to come next is what? Exposure. You would then be exposed. You will expose yourself, not anybody else. You will. After exposure, that's when the decision of life and death is going to be at stake, and that will be up to you. See, our Father has given us so many chances in this world. It's up to us to choose to that if we want life or not. A lot of the people that has sold their soul, that has sold themselves, they're walking like zombies because they can't even control their own vessels. They're so stuck in the desire of what the demons want to feed themselves. They run so much out of energy that they have to go and suck other people's energy. And that is a truth, not a lie. But let's continue. This is John speaking also. He asked, "Who has sent you to flee Eli's wrath?" Well, before we get there, when he was talking to the people that he was washing off, John the Baptist, right? He asked them, "Who has sent you to flee Eli's wrath?" Meaning the people that were rebellious, that were doing all of these wicked things, they left their place to come to be washed off their sins, right? But he also reminded, he said, "But no matter, bring all you have before Eli and his seeds. Everything that you do, bring it before him. Everything that you've done, bring it before him. Everything that you have, bring it before Elohim." Right? Let me remind you that you should be careful on who you call your predecessors, for you've come not from Sir Abraham. For Yahuwah can turn any stone unto Sir Abraham lineage. So if you are a liar, your truth will be seen. Meaning, if you are a true, actual family of your creator, if you are a true, actual of that lineage, it will be known, it will be seen. Let's continue. So from now on, all that has been tied unto you shall be severed and cut and cast into destruction. That means everything that you have been through, once you are washed, which people consider the word baptized. That's why I told you to look up the word, because every word has a meaning. It's not just because it's in English or Spanish or Spaniel or Dutch or Chinese or French. Just because it's in those languages, it doesn't mean that that's the original language. Meaning it's not the original meaning. Okay? It says everything that you had, that you were connected to, will be cut. It will be severed. You will be like a new creature. But even then, he still gave respect to Christ. Let's go and see. But he says what? "I indeed will wash you unto repentance before our Elohim, for I do this in the flesh and water. But the one who is mightier than me will wash you in his Father's Spirit, the living fire. For those," and then he says, "For those that are his and are accounted for, they'll be preserved and guarded. But as for those who reject him, shall burn along the rest that became rebellious." In the middle of his speech, then Christ appeared before him. It asked to be washed. It asked to be washed. Yeah, it asked to be washed. Well, it asked him to wash, but instead he asked Christ to wash him. He was so much in awe, so much that he was honored to be under Christ. And Christ said, "Suffer now for the kingdom of heaven and for righteousness," as he washed John the Baptist. Okay? But then Christ accepted Sir John to wash him, and emerging from the waters, the skies went clear, and the spirit of Elohim filled the area and gave a sign of a dove to fly by as lightning struck Christ. Now, we don't talk about this in the church. We don't talk about this in the church because not only, you got to think about it, the clouds are open, right? They're impossible. Where can lightning come from if there's no cloud? That means something had to come around. Something had to come around so that lightning can appear. So the impossible happened first in the sky to show what? To show what? To show the impossible. Then the dove was a sign of peace. And the lightning was a symbology of burning away the flesh, the fleshly things of the spirit. If you have been watching my videos, you're going to go back and check what I explain, what the word spirit means. Electrons. When electrons are in process, what does it do? It literally creates a stable, right? It creates a stable lineup. I'm not saying electricity in general. I'm just saying when electrons are moving, it creates stability. It brings stability and just. Okay, so let's continue. Whew. I want to make sure that I repeat this one again. All right, please. I have to. The spirit of Elohim filled the area and gave a sign of a dove to fly by as lightning struck Christ. And mind you, John the Baptist, Sir John the Baptist, was right there with him. So there had to have been what? A miracle. And a lot of the people that were there saw this. So they cannot deny. They couldn't deny. Let's continue. There, a mighty voice said, "Here, this is my son, my beloved one, in whom I am pleased with." That's just one. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the actual sauce that we're going to be dabbing in. All right, that we're going to be dabbing in, and this is going to be very important. Sir, shall I ever continue? Shall I continue? Um, yes, I shall. All right. This is going to be chapter 4, or in French, 4, or it doesn't really matter. Let's get started, all right? Then get to the time, well, we are in the time when Yahusha ventured onto the mountain where he was tempted. In the midst of it all, he was hungry for having to fast for 40 days and nights. When the temperature came, when the temperature came, he attempted to say that if Eli, I said the temperature, my apologies, for 40 days and 40 nights. When the tempter came, he attempted to say that if Christ is really Eli's son, he should turn the stones to bread because he was hungry. Christ replied and said to the spirit and said, "We live not by bread alone, but by every word that is spoken by our Elohim's mouth." So along his journey, the devils manipulated his route unto the highest hills over the cities and had him see them at its pinnacle. From there, he told Christ to jump from the edge of that hill and let Eli's angels catch him, since that's their job, so he won't be harmed. What happened next? But Yahushua had a response, and he said, "It is written." Yahushua had a response, and he said, "It is written, tempt not your master, your creator, but not convinced." Oh, my apologies. That's the next one. But not being convinced yet, the devils redirected his route unto another mountain that had other great cities and their glories to be seen, and said to Christ, "If you worship me, I will give all of these which he shown to him," and said it will be his. From there Christ commanded the devils and said, "Depart from me, Satans, He said, "Depart from me, Satans, for it is written, all shall worship Yahuwah only, for he is our mighty ruler, and in him only shall we serve." Verse 11. Immediately the devils fled from Christ the moment the angels came and appeared by him and ministered unto him of Eli's goodness and other important affairs that didn't regard us. And that is very important. I'm laughing about it. I'm laughing about that too, because in the words, it didn't say that they ministered with him. Because when you minister with someone, right, not only are you praising Yahuwah, right, you're speaking of his words, but you are together doing it together. So it's not just one-sided, it's both. But the Satans, the devils, they fled when they seen them come, right? When they seen them come, they fled, they left, they ran with their tails tucked behind their back. They ran, right? And what happened? The angels came and gave Yahusha, a message, as they were also praising Yahuwah. Because they did not say with, it said to. So they came for him, to him, for a specific reason. But let's continue. After hearing of John's imprisonment, immediately Christ dashed to Galilee after his journey out of Nazareth. As he made the Capernaum, which was by the coast of the sea of Zebulun and Naphtalium. Thus it was so as it was prophesied by Esaias, as interest was directed more into Galilee, which stood beyond Jordan over the seas. There were many that awaited day in the night, and around then Christ began preaching very early in the day, telling many to repent of their sins, for their salvation is at stake. Across his ventures in Galilee, Christ saw two brothers named Simon and Peter throwing their fishing net in the waters on their boats, and seeing them, he told them to follow him, and they hardly hesitated and began following him. I wonder how that conversation went. Later on, he came across two brothers, James and John, sons of Zebedee. Now they were on a ship as they were throwing their nets onto the waters as well. And if you want to know, we have John, we have Saint John. Okay, we have Saint John the chapter. Go and check that out. You're gonna learn a lot about that in the conversations on how that went, because majority of them they already witnessed Christ when he was being washed by John the Baptist. Okay, love you all. So I had to let you know what was up with that one right there. All right. From there, Yahusha traveled all over Galilee, teaching in many synagogues, preaching the truth. Oh, I missed one. My apologies, you guys, brothers and sisters. My apologies. We missed one. Later on, he came, because I forgot about James and John's. Later on, he came across two brothers, James and John, sons of Zebedee. Now they were on a ship as they were throwing their nets onto the waters as well. Immediately he called unto them to follow him, and they dropped off all they were doing and followed him. From there, Yahusha traveled all over Galilee, teaching in many synagogues, preaching the truth of Elohim's commandments, as he performed many miracles, many miraculous feats of acts never seen by any. Christ healed many and cast out demons from many in the name of Yahuwah. Because of this, his name was known throughout the entire nation of Syria as many more people came unto him to witness his doings for themselves. All sickness or demonic influences obeyed him and his words. From there many others followed him, and many more came to witness his works from Galilee and Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and anywhere from beyond Jordan. And beyond Jordan. And what was the topic of today? Refuse the enemy's gift when Eli elevates you in Christ. When he elevates you in Christ. Why do you think that is important? Mind you, all of these things were already supported, right? They all were supported. They were prophesied for years. For years. For years. So that means that it was meant to happen. Even the disciples that followed him. That's why another reason why they couldn't hesitate, because they could not deny the truth. A man got struck by lightning and he's alive like nothing happened. Like nothing happened. What would you say about that? I would be pretty terrified. So if somebody come up to me and say yes, yes, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you got it. You got it. Okay, they didn't even they barely hesitated. They thought about it because he's not gonna force them, but they hesitated. My eyelashes. But they barely hesitated. They barely hesitated. And what do you think happened? And what came from that? They were able to do the same thing that he said that they were going to be able to do, and more. Right? So the matter of today's, words is, just because something look good doesn't mean that it's for you. Doesn't mean that it's your purpose. Doesn't mean that it's for you to go out there and venture in it. Because just because you see fire, if our Father tells us to not touch fire, you go touch fire, what's going to happen? It's going to burn. It's going to burn. There's so many things in this world where we're not supposed to. Like, for example, people, when they get in relationships and stuff like that, or they want to, right? If you're given an image of somebody that you want to be with, or that maybe not, you just never knew the person, never talked to the person, you might have seen the person here and there, right? Or maybe words might have come across, the table of this person, right? But you never really talked to this person, right? So what do you think is going to happen? Imagine that they are like the fire. You're told not to touch. They are the fire. You're told not to touch. What's the best thing to do? And there are right answers and there's wrong answers as well. And if you got the right answer, put it in the comment section. Pray. Because you might like the person, but they might not be right for you. They might like you, but they might not be right. You might not be right for them. Sometimes we need people that we might know, that we don't know, or we might get to know, so that they can be, so that you can be the betterment of their experience in life, so you can be that example, so they can take that in their life and move, accordingly. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's always the best thing to be on the sideline, but if you have true love, you will want other people to win and not just yourself. See, a lot of times when we compete for the wrong things, we get the wrong things as a reward. We forget what's important, our true happiness. We can be so motivated to do everything in the world, and then we get stuck in that motivation of doing everything in the world, so much to a point where, like, yo, I think that I was out here working, making this. If you draw, right, and you're an artist, it's good to draw. But then you're making more money drawing. You're not barely praying, and if you are praying, your consecration, one phone call, you stop prayer. If an ant crawled on you right now, you're gonna stop praying. You're gonna try your best to smack the ant, to crush the ant, do whatever the case is. You're not going to no. If a fly land on you, if anything distracts you while you're praying, you're gonna stop immediately and trust and believe. I've been through all of these things, and trust and believe. I will let you guys know. And that's the work of the enemy right there. There's no other person. You can be in a place where it's cold and where it would not even make sense, where like if there ever will be bugs in any way, like straight up ants, flies, that might even come and the door be closed, window be closed. How did this come in here just to buzz in your ear? How did this come in here just to probably crawl on you? Luckily, ain't no roaches. You feel me? But like they find the crack in the nannies to come in here. How? Like somebody just went out to a pet store and just bought a whole gang of them and just said, all right, let you free, my babies. I let you free. Like, fam, these type of situations, matter. They matter. When your enemies are offering you a gift, when they're offering you a gift, I don't care if it comes with $20 billion. Not all money is good money. And that's the truth. It doesn't matter if somebody said it's just a tool for you to use. All right. So what do you have to give in exchange for that? What are you willing to lose in exchange for that money? There are people that might want to help you in life, but then what is their intention? Like me personally, I don't. Even if somebody say I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna be the person. I used to be that person to question people, but I didn't question them on certain things. Now I'm the person where I might not ask you everything, but I'm gonna ask you the important things that you might not even think that I'm gonna ask you, that you wouldn't even think I would dare to ask you. I will question your motives on a high level where every answer that you give, you gonna sweat just trying to give me a response. And you're not even gonna realize it. And it's gonna catch you off guard because you're gonna think that you're gonna prepare yourself and not come up with something that you had not even prepared, that you can't even possibly think about. It doesn't matter if you pay somebody to act a certain way, if you pay somebody to do this, if you pay somebody to do that, however you bring on the imagery of illusions or delusions, in which you're just going to be caught off guard. See, people that have been brought up to be like lions, right? They become lions not because they were born lions, they become lions because they had to be. So you can't devour somebody that's much stronger. Doesn't matter how many lions are in the den. It just takes about a stronger fang. It takes a stronger claw in the toughness of your skin and your muscle to become much more victorious than 1,000 lions. And I'm not saying that you guys are going to be out here just crushing lions as a lion. You know, there's 1,000 lions coming at you. You're going to crush every last one. No, you're going to get a challenge. And I'm a Goku minded person, meaning I like to spar. So fighting, I'm not saying that oh yeah, you want to talk smack? Let me just you know what I'm saying? Like no. I'm not saying I'm just gonna go off and hit somebody in the face because no. Like if I'm cool with you, even if I'm not cool with you, I'll let you have the conversation. You'll argue with the wall if you want to. Argue with the sky if you want to. I know the truth, so I'm gonna let you talk. But if you're gonna disrespect me, I gotta walk on about my business because that's the first thing that I should do. I'm gonna pray for you. I can only tell you good things. I'm not gonna spill out negativity out of my mouth. I ain't gotta curse at you. I don't gotta yell at you. I might just make a joke. And if you can't take a joke, I will apologize for making a joke sincerely, because what else am I supposed to say? If you said something that was just ignorantly stupid, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're stupid. No, I'm gonna say that was not probably the smartest answer, my brother, my sister. Probably not the best answer. Probably not. Probably is. Probably not. I'm already not a person you're gonna mock, but a person you could mock if you want to. I don't really care. But somebody that has a personality that's not fake. So if I don't feel a certain thing, I'm gonna tell you I don't feel that. I'm not rocking with that. Simple as that. And if you don't take my answers for that, then that's just that. Simple as that. I don't like when people are indirect. That's another thing. Like I said, when somebody can present to you $2 billion, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is, how it's presented. I don't like surprises. I like surprises, but I don't like surprises at the same time. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, right? So that's exactly the vibe that I get from certain people when they do certain things and they don't know that a person is literally looking at them, and it's just like, oh, okay. And like when you go to sleep and then you just get dreams about certain things and you're just like, oh, okay, that's what you want to play. I'm gonna let you do what you want to do, right? And then when it's just not gonna work the way that you think it's gonna work, then you might have to spend a little bit more money. You might have to do a little bit more calculations because you thought that it was just gonna be like that, and it's just simple. Like, no, my father, my creator, is not a simple person. He's more than simple. And I can promise you, my testimony in my previous video, the I believe it was 3 videos before this one, or 2 videos before this one, it speaks of it like in the highest brink. It speaks of it in the highest level. And I will not stand here before you guys to lie to you. I'm just saying these are just scenarios that I'm giving you besides that video, and also the truth as far as what we've read, and also what is sound and what is logic, and not just a claim, and not just something that people want to learn as far as giving themselves, reasons to do certain things that are not good. That's why when we're reading these things, you have to take your mindset of every word being every word. Like I told people, you can literally be a Christian, quote unquote Christian, right? And you do not know you are offending your creator. Now, your heart might be in the place of what you would want, but it does not mean that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You could go to the church, get on your knees 24/7, but are you doing that in the crib? And even if you are doing that in the crib, how is the behavior outside your crib? How do you behave around your friends? Are you doing this only in front of people? Are you doing this only behind cam? Are you doing this only in front of cameras? Are you doing this like literally? How are you doing this thing when there's nobody around? That is your true testament. Like if you can last for however long that you can by following Christ, right? And you're doing this by yourself, with yourself, and nobody else around, for, for any more than a week. If you can last doing it for a week, that will be a potential challenge for you. A lot of people say that, oh, you think that you got to go and fast for months, you got to fast for weeks. You don't really. That's not the only thing that you have to do. And I'm not saying you got to fast for months. No, you don't have to fast for months. Some people, their mission and their journey is different. All our journeys is different. But if you could do 1 week and you could consecrate yourself for 1 week and walking in a path of righteousness, and I promise you, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I promise you, there's also, and you have what is it called? You have the will to want to be walking in the truth. I promise you, that fire gonna activate in you. The Holy Spirit is gonna activate in you. The Spirit of our Father in Him, Elohim, for our Adonai, is gonna activate in you. It's gonna activate in you, especially when you know the truth and you know how to be around the truth and you know how to keep the truth and also work in the truth. It's gonna activate in you. It's going to. There will be no work. There will be no way you can go wrong. Because the little things, you don't even have to speak. Sometimes you have to speak because sometimes things can be irritating. And you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be like, and you might be around people, and then people might think you crazy. You like, oh, spirit of contradiction, spirit of blasphemy, depart from me. All of this stuff. Sometimes it might make you crazy, but what's better, your sanity or people making you think that you're crazy because they're looking at you weird and they don't even know what's going on? Your peace of heart, your peace of your, not peace like as in PEICE, peace as in PEACE. Is it PIECE or is it PEICE? One or the other. It doesn't really matter to me. Um, you know what exactly what I'm talking about. As long as the word PEACE is actually in the the objective of this topic or this specific sentence, right? What's better, your peace, the peace of your peace of heart, your sanity of your mind, of a whole bunch of impulsive thoughts. A lot of people meditate, but then they get too mellow where even then, even that through that yoga stuff, they get possessed. When are you gonna learn? Through this Krishna stuff, people don't even realize that all of these entities are very possessive. I fight with a lot of stuff. I fight with a lot of stuff. I done did so much to a point where I can't even look to think back at the stuff that I used to do because I left that in the past. I left that as the past. It's not a part of me. I don't care for anything of it related. I left it back there, and it's so way back there that if it even comes to try to touch me, I'ma smack it in the face, and that's the only thing that I'ma smack because what else am I gonna smack? I'm not here to hurt my brothers and my sisters because it's not about it's not a fight of our flesh, but it's the fight of the spirit. It's the fight that is the war that is being waged of our spirit, of our intent, of our attention, of our perception, and also our existence. So you can go the long way and take that distance so that you can be a better self. But understand that all of these materialistic things that are devices, suffices, are only going to be shortened. And you're going to have to keep going out here paying for this. That includes the marijuana, the drinks, that includes the people that feed your ego, and all of these things. I don't be talking about what I say just because I don't know any better. Like, no, I mess up too. But because I mess up, that's the reason why I can relate to a lot of you. Because how else am I going to be living my life if I'm just perfect? And we have to be examples unto each other. Like real examples, not the type where like we're being fake because we want this, we want that, we want to explore making ourselves look better by shaming other people. Like, no, no, we have to do better than that. We have to do better because it doesn't seem like a lot of people understand that. When you speak on your when you speak on a child, a true child, not a fake child, a true child of our creator, for in him Elohim, you will know when something is not right. Your behavior yourself is gonna show, especially if you're the accuser or you're the one that's mocking. Your behavior is going to show because you can't hide your character forever. It's going to eventually show. That's why I gave you those 5 scenarios before the person exposed themselves. Because after that, they're going to be left for them to make a choice of life or death. So if they choose death, I hope they're not surprised that lightning will come and strike them where they stand. I hope they're not surprised that the earth will open where they're at and then swallow them whole. I hope that they don't fall anywhere where there's water, where the water is just going to take them away, or let alone trees is going to fall on them, or they get into an accident. I hope that none of these things happen because that's exactly what's going to happen. Once they are made aware of certain things, there are levels to how things are. That's why our Father, He's conditioned with love because He gives them the choices and the options to make the choices that they need to. Sometimes people have to be villains in your life so that you can make better choices in life. And that's true. Yes, it is. Sometimes they're given that opportunity so that they can make bad choices, but that is actually their good works of them not even knowing it. But they might not even realize that it's just for a short period of time. And once you're no longer needed in that story and you're no longer the protagonist because you were never the main character, you're going to be pushed to the side, and you can choose to be a side character or you can choose to not exist in the story at all. Simple. When you are a when you are an heir of our father's promise, and the reason why I laugh is because it's funny the way I interpreted this. But when you are an heir of our father's promise, right? That means that you are a main character. And I'm telling you, this is not even a joke. I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm literally telling you, you are a main character, meaning the audience is Yahuwah. He is literally on you like he's reading. If you read manga books, whatever the case is, watch anime, whatever, or movies, whatever the case is, shows, he's flipping through these screens, these scenarios, just to keep an eye on you. What do you think when it says that the book of life, keeping an eye on you? Everything has been written. It's already been adjourned. Has already been predestined. Keeping an eye on you. All his angels as well, keeping an eye on you. Keeping an eye on you. So you are a main character. See, now we're not all main characters of one, of a single little book. We are main characters of different chronicles of books being put together to make the entire story to make sense. And this is what has been the problem. There has been so much disorganization that the book, yes, the book makes sense altogether, but there's so much disorganization that the book, the way it was already made, the way it was structured, is no longer structured the exact same way. Because there's too many things that are happening that is literally rewriting situations for it to be override. The book is still going to exist. It's just that things that didn't need to exist in the book now exist because of this decision. Like I said, different chronicles that are put in the book to make the book make sense. It still makes sense. It's just that now there's so many layers of things that have to be read. Who do you think are reading these books? Are you reading these books? No. Somebody is reading these books, literally making sure that that's a lot of books. That's a lot of chronicles for things that don't need to exist. That we're adding in our lives rather than making it simple for him. We're making things harder. We are offending him for the time that we're given time here. Let's put it like this. If you give somebody, I'm gonna give you guys' perception because I want you guys to understand. If you, right, had the ability to give life, right, in a sense where you don't have to procreate, you can just say Shazam and then life is just like that, right? And you allow the life that you gave, right, to live because you are immortal. I didn't add that as an attribute, but you're immortal. You give that life a life to live for maybe about 1,000 years. That is a lot in one person's chronicle. That is a lot. That's a lot of chapters. You give them the opportunity to live for 1,000 years. And then only that, they live for 1,000 years and they just doing things that you don't like. But you got, imagine it like you give them life, but then they're the characters to a show. Right? You give them a thousand years to live, and they just keep doing the wrong things that you don't like. Are you gonna want to keep watching that show? No, you're gonna cut the show in half. You're gonna diminish it. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it quarterly. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make an episode. So now there's a whole new, what's it called? Part one, a season two, a season three for generations to come. Do you understand what I'm just telling you guys? Because I'm giving you these things in a way that could be understood and not common knowledge where I'm not just, oh, this is the buy and ball. Like everything that I'm giving you guys are straight knowledge, straight gems in such a way that kids will be able to understand. And if you're an adult and you're not able to understand what I just said, please, I need you to meditate in Christ. I need you to meditate in Christ. I need you to meditate in our Father's name. Consecrate your mind, because there is no better way for me to have. Well, no. Papa, forgive me. That could have been a lie right there. I don't know if there's a better way for me to say this, but there might be a better way for me to say this. But I just that was what popped up in my head. That was what popped up in my head, in my mind, in my brain, as I'm talking right now. That's what popped up. So I want you guys to think about it, please. Please think about it. Okay? Because it's very important that we understand that when we say that we are the image of someone, right? Just like your parents. If your parents were to watch you from a screen, right? They're going to be like, oh, my kids is embarrassing me right now. They're on TV acting foolish and doing all of these stupid things. So much you wouldn't even want to watch, but you still want to watch because you want to make sure that they're okay. Does that make sense? So don't burden your creator, please. Give him your problems and your affairs, but do not burden him, because there are situations that we deal with that, our enemies cause on us, and they're, that when they accuse us, when we mess up, it could literally be them. That yes, son, yes, daughter, I saw that it was in you, that you were influenced to be in that scenario, and I allowed it because I wanted you to see this. I wanted this other person to see how you interacted, how you dealt with this. That's understandable. But scenarios that you cause for yourself because you have no control, who do you think is that's going to go to? And I'm not trying to make anybody fearful of anything like that. Yes, fear the might of your creator and his wrath, but at the same time, be more loving, be more understanding that you are literally the image of him, meaning what you deal with, imagine him. Be considerate. Be considerate of his time. Be considerate. Because we don't have no power to create ourselves. We don't have anything in us to say that we can exist. The moment this matrix is just cease to exist, what do you think going to happen? You're going to see these dragons, these half beings, these sentient beings, these influences of spirits that we could not see before. Remember the word that I use: higher density, lower mass. So the more that you carbonize in this world, there's the more you're going to retain in mass, meaning you're going to be holding on to weight. Okay? And I said this in my previous videos, in many of my videos. A lot of what people are going to be teaching you, they're not going to be telling you these things. I'm giving you these gems in the sense of what could be understood in a way where science can break it down in a way that you're that you're used to. By understanding the medicine, the pills, and all of these things in a way that you're used to, that is common in our era right now. So that you can get the visualization, because I feel like that's exactly what's missing. Because a lot of times we're inathletic and we're reading where we cannot visualize. And that same thing goes for relationships. A lot of men cannot visualize, at least that's what women say as far as our situations, right? We cannot visualize how we can interact with them and how we live by the code of how we're supposed to be treating them. We cannot visualize it. We only visualize on how we feel. We also are logical, but our logic is also emotional as well. And the same thing with women. Because we're not on here to shame nobody, but we're going to definitely get on that topic. That's how we are in here. It's truth. I don't care if anybody like it or not. If you're toxic, you're toxic. If you're toxic, you're toxic. That means you got a spirit that you need to kick out of your life immediately. Immediately. Because like I said, you don't want to be, if you're going to break up with somebody, you don't need to toxify somebody. You don't need to make somebody acidic like lava and just make them hot for no reason. And they gotta go and burn somebody, right? And burn somebody for the sake of them not being able to deal with you. And I'm gonna say this, men. I'm gonna start with men because they don't want to deal with you. You're being toxic. All you're doing is splurging money and saying that, oh, I got stability, but my mental stability is not there. I'm very deceptive. I'm very calculative, but in a sense of wickedness, right? I got money to show. I got this and that stability to show. But then you don't treat your woman correctly. You only show her love when she give you some. Like, fam, please. If you have a daughter, understand that your daughter will literally turn out to be like her mother if she does not have exact, like, when a woman is pregnant. I'm gonna tell you this. This is the reason why a lot of you don't understand. There's a time. This is between Mary and her cousin. I don't remember her cousin, but her cousin was married to some type of governor or ruler. I don't remember the name, right? But John, right, is cousins to who? Yahuwah. I mean Yahushua, right? Yahusha. Papa, forgive me. Right? So when Mary was pregnant, John leaped in joy in the womb when he came in the presence of Yahusha. When he came in the presence of Christ. So that means that in the belly, the womb, right? The babies are conscious. So your experiences as and this is me talking to the women, your experiences is what the baby will go through. The trauma the baby will endure. So if you are a man, and this is me talking to the man now, if you are a man, you will know that the experiences that you literally inflict on the woman, she will transmit that to the baby, and the baby will imprint that in his DNA or her DNA. So when a baby come out a little bit talkative, a little bit more sassy, a little bit more disobedient, understand that these things or argumentative, or they doing certain things. I'm not saying as a baby, but once they get into a certain type of knowledge and they get into a certain aspect of life, understand that the reason why they act a certain way is because of how you treated them in their mother's womb. In this world, data means everything. Remember, like I explained to you what knowledge is, right? Intelligence as far as knowledge. Data. Things are being absorbed. Things are being understood. Vibrations and light. All right. So when you cannot treat the woman right, the baby gonna come out very, 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 very disturbing in the sense of we cannot listen. We're gonna be disobedient. Two parents in the household. Still, the father is drunk, coming beating on his woman. Still, the woman is very argumentative and disobedient to her man, and she's trying to be the pants of the house. Even if she makes more than the man, even if the man makes more than the woman, trying to rule the household. We should be equals. But there's a reason why uh, order and leadership is given to the man. There's a reason. So, ladies, stop being toxic. If you're being prayed for in any aspect of life, that's because you need that prayer. You need a hand to hold where nobody is holding you where nobody's holding that hand for you. You might think everything is cool because of what you're doing and nobody's talking about it. No. You need that hand. And the same thing for you men. Brethren, you need that hand. Because there's some things that a brother cannot do for you that for sure that they will not do for you. They cannot do for you, and they should not do for you, that only a woman is supposed to. Okay. because we're not here to go against people, but we're here to speak the truth. The truth. The only truth. The truth for what truth is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm the type of person that love, but at the same time, it's like if love is not what you're in a relationship for, interest is out of what? Commission. You're leveraging your relationship to leverage. Yes, I said that twice, and it was intentional. To leverage, because it's interest. What can I get out of this situation? Am I getting paid to do this? Am I do I have to act like I do this? Do I have to go and watch this? Do I have to go and observe this? Do I have to go and make note to this? Do I have to go and subdue this? Do I have to go and make this submit? Do I have to go and try to to make create illusions, whatever the case is? And then you end up what? You end up falling in the sauce. And what happens after that? You end up getting delulu. And that's a favorite word. That's a word that I actually like from this one content creator, because she cool. I mean, I don't watch. I mean, I watch a lot of her videos, but certain things I might not really associate with, because, like I said, some things when you know, and some things when you don't know, you just don't know. But she makes some really good content videos. I'm actually gonna probably put it in the comment section or something like that, or description, because yeah, I watch her stuff. Something, I think it's Miss Light or something like that. Light, something light, but she cool. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like, I'm not the type of person to be afraid to shout out people either. Like, if you got anything going on, woo, 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 this is literally the community, the tabloids of platforms. All right, because we are in need of people to spread love, truth, honesty, like genuine, like actual purity of heartfelt love. Not because you have interest or trying to smash, Hulk smash, or just because you want to be dating, you because you feel like you're lonely. I'm lonely, right? Sometimes, and just because I'm lonely sometimes does not mean that I gotta go out here and spend money to go and talk to a chick, or go out here and trying to put myself on with almost everybody, because I feel like I cannot, control my emotion and my libido. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Like, if you're in a relationship, especially men, I'm gonna give you a secret right here, because there's a lot of women that are giving secrets to women for some reason, and they're not giving it to men. If you're in a relationship, please, and you are married, not just in a relationship, you're married, and you put a ring on her finger, okay, and not just relationship and just, yeah, no, you put a ring on her finger, and she is your wife, okay. I'm gonna tell you a secret here. Don't have her, like, don't be in a relationship and try to smash all the time. Don't try. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be the person to not want to smash. She's gonna want to smash you. Okay? And this is so that you have kids, not just out of pleasure. Because when you don't intend to smash her, you get to learn discipline as well. So she's gonna be the one that she's gonna have to follow under your lead. And if she says that, oh, she don't think that you're attracted to her, give her reasons to make her feel like you're attracted to her. Remember, marriage, marriage, not none of these, not any of these things, situations that you do off of the rip, and then you just try to say, oh no, we're gonna do this one time for the one night, for the one stand. Like, you're gonna end up doing the walk of shame. Like, no, your wife. And ladies, your husband. Because you guys thinking that you're gonna be walking in a relationship with the pants, and he's gonna be like, bring that over here, boy. I'm not done talking to you. Like, no, toxic scenarios, toxic situations. We as men don't like that. We don't like that. Be submissive. I don't care if you make 50,000 times more than the man. I do not care. Your relationship is going to last for about however long he can tolerate your disrespect. Meaning he would disrespect you and get you robbed just because. And the same thing with you women as well. So like I said, I don't just pick one side or two. Everything that I'm saying is gonna match on both sides, regardless. I'm not saying be nobody's slave. Don't be nobody's slave. Be yourself. Because when you're yourself and you get in a relationship being yourself and you're actually genuine and you actually appreciate, right? What is there for you to hide? What is there for you to feel like you need a whole bunch of billions of dollars of worth of things that is gonna probably break? That you didn't have a journey on. You didn't go to the mountains, stay there for a week with your loved one, with your partner, with your soulmate, with your wife or your husband. You didn't go there just, staying there just watching the sunset, enjoying nature and stuff like that. You didn't have a story to tell. You're always in the house, by with each other, or you're always at work, or you're always with your friends, and so and so and so and so. You got nothing to talk about except for other people's business. What is that? What is that? Because I for sure would not be okay. I would not be okay with that. The moment a woman even brings anybody's problem, oh, my apologies, give me 1 second. The moment a woman even brings me anybody's problems that has nothing to do with